everyone, welcome back to my garden. Today I'm going to be doing my start my spring planting here in the vegetable garden. Now that's a little bit of a lie because I've already begun my spring planting. I planted up some radish and I've already harvested them, ate them. I think I might have posted a picture on Instagram, not sure. But they were delicious German giants, and I would do another crop now. But unfortunately here in eastern North Carolina, spring is on its way out and summer is on the way in. In the next probably 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be hitting on average low 80s temperature wise, and the nights will probably get to around high 60s, low 70s. So it'll be getting a little too warm for radish. So I'll have to wait until the fall to enjoy my radish again. All that being said, let me just take you for a quick look here around the garden and show you what is growing right now. Right here in this bed, I have three different types of peas currently growing. I did plant them around March 15th, a little before, I believe, and this is as tall as they've gotten so far. So hopefully in the next few weeks they really take off, and then I can get a harvest of peas off of them before it gets too hot. In the corners here, I planted some chamomile. Now that's not a big deal for most of you who are experienced gardeners and who have grown chamomile all your lives, but for me this is actually new and exciting because I've never had chamomile ever grow before. I've tried direct seeding, I've tried growing from seed, I've tried everything I can think of to make chamomile grow for me, but it's never happened until this year. So they'll hopefully grow and fill out the corners here in the bed. And here in the front of the bed, I planted something that will be a surprise if it does germinate and if it does grow. There's nothing in the middle currently. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this bed after the peas have grown, but at least I've got them going. In this bed right here, I have 2 varieties of onions. Unfortunately, there's not as many onions in this bed as I had planted out. I don't know, they just didn't survive. But I have red Creole, and looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 good plants there. And over here, I have Texas Early Grano. And I've never grown this variety before. And it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 growing right now. And hopefully they do well, and with a little luck I'll be harvesting them sometime in I think it's midsummer for me. Midsummer I'll harvest these. Now I'm not worried about the lack of onions growing in this bed because I do have another bed of onions, so let me show you those. Growing in this bed, I have 2 other varieties of onions. On this half, I have Candy F1. I see at least 8 different plants here, and on this side, I have Red Rock F1. And hopefully I'll be harvesting them come midsummer, and then maybe I'll put watermelon in this bed afterwards. Let's go see what else is growing. This is the bed where I had the radishes. I had it on this half right here, and as I said, I've already harvested them. I have weeds popping up all over the place, don't know why. I'm not sure what I'm going to plant on this side going forward. That'll have to be determined. Maybe beans, maybe beans. Of course, I'm only not going to do just a half bed of beans. I love beans, green beans, and I'll probably do another full bed someplace else. But for now, I have no idea what I'm going to put here. Over here, I have garlic, Roman red garlic. So hopefully, I think again, midsummer or so, I'll be harvesting them and I'll be popping these out of the ground. In this bed, I have 4 different types of garlic. I have Romanian red, I've got Deerfield purple, I've got Sicilian artichoke, Incheon red. So I've got 4 different types of garlic in this bed. These 3 other beds, I have obviously nothing going on at the moment. I just did a short on that. I have to weed them all out, fill them up, and prepare them for planting. So I won't be planting in these today, but let me show you where I am planting and what we will be planting today. Well, I did film me talking about and showing me planting peanuts in the ground here, but unfortunately I had my microphone in my pocket. Nonetheless, I planted a row of 7 peanuts, 2 inches deep, spaced approximately 6 to 8 inches apart. These plants will come up to about yay high. The stems will then flop over. They'll put their tendrils into the ground, and then I will get peanuts from those tendrils. So my hope is that this year I have a better crop from 1 bed than I did from 2 beds last year, because last year I had a lot of those tendrils hanging over the side. So we will see. Let's go plant something now that gets really tall. One of the things I wanted to grow this year was corn. And normally I do that in my in-ground beds. I haven't grown corn in about a year. I think I didn't grow it last year, but the year before I did grow it, and I got a fairly decent harvest. This year, my in-ground beds I'm saving for flowers and other plants that the deer will eat out in the flower garden. That'll be a whole nother video. I'm getting ahead of myself. This bed right here, I'm gonna grow something that I think Sophie will appreciate in the long term. And that's sweet corn on deck hybrid. So this is a variety of corn that will only get to about 4 to 5 feet tall. It's a hybrid variety that is designed to grow in pots. So think of like those half wine barrels. In fact, I had grown in a half wine barrel up in New York. And because corn needs to be, I don't want to say densely packed, but corn needs, experienced gardeners, please help me out here. I'm stumbling over my words and I'm trying to come up with the right words here. But corn needs to be in a group, and this way when the wind blows, you get pollen from one to fertilize the flowers on another one and vice versa. So I'm going to plant these, it says in gardens, here we go, in gardens, so 6-10 inches apart in rows 2 to 3 feet apart. I'm going to bring them a little closer together, and the reason being is because it's pretty windy today. We've had a very windy spring. We may wind up having a very windy year overall. So I'm going to be sticking these corn kernels in here, and I'm going to do, let's see, that's one, probably about 6 inches apart. I'm going to do them 6 to 8 inches apart. And my hope is that once these plants get full size, that they then basically support one another. Because if I space them too far apart, the roots may not go deep enough, the plant may not be stable enough, and they may wind up falling out of the raised bed. This is my fear. Now, I could build an elaborate system here to hold them all in place, but I really kind of don't want to do that. When making the rows here about 1 foot apart. If you guys have ever grown the on-deck hybrid before, please let me know in the comments below. I have a small handful left here. Maybe I'll wind up saving them or doing a pot up on the back deck later this year. I'm not sure yet. So now that that's done, let's go plant up the main attraction. In this bed right here, I had carrots growing over the winter, and they were absolutely delicious. I talked about them in previous videos. I'm not going to bore you guys any more than I already am boring you. But what I am going to do is plant up my pepper plants. And if you guys didn't know, many of you experienced gardeners know, and I know there's a lot of experienced gardeners who watch this channel, but pepper plants are perennial. You can dig them up out of your garden at the end of the year, and then you could put them in your greenhouse to overwinter. I've done a couple of videos on this, so I'm not going to bore you with all of that. But now is the time, since the danger of frost is past, everything's getting warmer. I'm going to put these into the ground here, and they are going to share a home with my tomatoes. So this first one is El Jefe Jalapeno. Good set of roots there. I'm going to tease them just a bit. Push that guy back in. There we go. Make sure that tag sticks up. And if I remember correctly, it gets to about yay tall. At least it did in the ground, because that's where I previously had my pepper plants growing, was in the ground. This is the first time they've ever been in a raised bed, so it'll be interesting to see whether they perform better, worse, in between. I'm not sure. The next one is Red Knight Sweet Pepper. I'm gonna pull that back there. Yep. There we go. Push that in. Push the saw back around it. There we go. Make sure that tag is there. And again, I think it only gets to about yay high, but that's what it did in the ground. In the raised bed here, it may behave differently. These tomatoes I grew from seed, and if you watched any of my previous videos, you may have already guessed what they are, but if you forgot or you haven't watched my previous videos, you should go back and watch my previous videos. This is spoon tomato. This is a variety of tomato I've never grown before. It came recommended from somebody I know who's a local gardener, and they've done very well for him. And what I'm going to do is just stick that right in there. I'm going to bury the stem. This does a couple of things. It provides a little bit more stability for the plant. And also, my understanding is roots will actually grow out from that stem. So there'll be a lot of roots, the ones that are deep down, and then any, I guess, what do you call that, lateral roots growing out there from the stem. If you guys have grown spoon tomatoes, please let me know in the comments below. If you haven't, I bought these from Baker Creek Seeds. Not sponsored. That's just where I got them from. Okay. They're supposed to be very delicious. They're a very small cherry tomato. I have mentioned in previous videos that I have a problem growing full-size tomatoes because the stink bugs they're attracted to them. They sit there and poke the fruit and the fruit then rots. It's terrible. Cherry tomatoes, I really don't have a problem with, which is strange. They will attack some of the fruit, but maybe because there's so much fruit per plant, it's not a problem. I don't know, but we're gonna find out how they respond to the spoon tomatoes. The next plant I'm gonna plant here is another cherry tomato. This one's Chadwick cherry tomato. I've never grown this variety either. I can't remember why I purchased this variety. It might have been one of those things like it grows well in the heat, because this spot right here will get quite warm. Down the hole you go, and then cover back up. Firm into the soil. Throw that tag right there. Bob's your uncle. I've heard all sorts of things about putting eggs underneath plants and fish heads and all sorts of crazy things. Do you guys do any of that? I've never done anything like that before. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've never done that before. So if you've ever taken any special additional steps with your tomato plants, please let me know below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys and know how you treat your tomato plants. So we have the 2 spoon, we have the 2 Chadwick, and we have the 2 pepper plants at the end. Well, we've got this gap right here. So what we're going to fill this gap with is one of my favorite plants, basil. And I could have started my basil indoors, but I had a lot of plants already in the greenhouse. These are the oldest. Okay, so we're going to use up the oldest seed first. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do this. I'm going to sow my basil directly in the ground. It should come up within a week to 2 weeks. These seeds that I'm planting are from 2022, so I don't know if they're going to be, how viable they're going to be, so I'm sprinkling a little heavy. I could always come back and thin them out and remove the ones that I don't want to grow. I think in this space here, if I had 4 plants, that would be more than enough. Now, the other thing I think I want to do, I think maybe right here, right between the basil and the tomato, and this could be a mistake, but we're going to give it a whirl. I'm going to sow some chives. I don't know what's going to grow. I don't know what's going to come up. I don't know which one of these packets is the oldest. 2023 and 24. So this one's the newer. We're going to keep that one. We're going to use up the oldest one first. So I'm going to sow some chives. And allegedly, chives help keep aphids off of the tomato plants. Allegedly. And we're just going to do a thin row. There we go. Cover that back up. And I think I'm going to do a row over here between the peppers and the tomatoes. There we go. Now, if nothing comes up, oh well. And I think these are just regular chives. Yeah, these are regular chives. If nothing comes up, oh well. If the chives do come up, awesome. I will be keeping an eye on the basil. If I don't see any action in the next 14 days, I'll know that the seeds I have are no longer valid and I will plant some new seeds. Not a big deal. So that's what we got going on here in the vegetable garden today. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything, please feel free to leave those comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. If you guys didn't know, I have an Etsy store. If you want to head over to the Etsy store, check out some stuff that I've got going on over there. I think I have still have some pot feet for sale up in the store. I have note cards with various things on them. Check those out, and I'll probably be putting up more pot feet in the near future. Don't know when exactly. I have to make some more pot feet. And with all that being said, I have some loud birds out there. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.